चलिए शुरू करते हैं बिना किसी देरी के. The King and the Monk. What is the truth with? Long ago, there was a mighty king who ruled over a Persian kingdom. His palace were filled with gold and jewels. His armies stretched far and wide, and his subjects obeyed his every word. Despite all his wealth and power, the king was restless. At night he tossed and turned in his golden bed, worried that someone might steal his treasury and overthrow his throne. The more riches he gathered, the heavier his heart became. One day, while hunting in the forest, the king came across an old monk. The monk wore tattered robes, carried no possessions, and sat calmly by the river bank in the meditation. The king was astonished. This man has nothing, yet his face glowed with peace. I who own so much cannot find rest. How is the possible? The king approached him and asked, Holy man, how can you be content when you have no wealth, no palace, no servants? The monk smiled and replied, Your Majesty, I sleep soundly every night, and I fear no thief, no rival, no loss. My wealth is within me, freedom from desire and fear. That is why I am at peace. The king scoffed. You speak as if my riches mean nothing. Come to my palace tonight, you will see what real comfort is. The monk agreed. The night in the palace. That night, the monk was given the finest chamber. Servant brought him rich food, silk cushion, and warm lamps. But the monk noticed some things. Guard patrolled every corner, lock sealed every door, and even the king himself slept with his sword enclosed by the walking often in suspicion. By morning, the monk laughed softly and said, Majesty, your palace is grand, but your happiness is impressed behind lock and guards. It is like a thirsty man trying to drink from a golden cup that was no water inside. The vessel shines, but the thirst remains. The test. The test, the king argued. You cannot understand true happiness lies in power and wealth. The monk replied, Very well. Let us test it. Lay aside your crown for just one day. Come with me into the forest, live as I do. If you do not feel a deeper joy, then I will admit you are right. The king hesitated but agreed, thinking what harm could one day bring. The forest experience. The next morning, the king, dressed in simple robes, and followed the monk into the forest. They ate wild fruits, bathed in the river, and rested under the shade of trees. That night, the king lay under the open sky. There were no guards, no locks, no jewelers, only the cool breeze and the endless stars above. For the first time in a year, the king slept deeply and peacefully. When he woke, the sun was already high and he felt more refreshed than ever before. Startled, and he exclaimed, I have never slept like this in my palace. The monk smiled gently that, O king, rest with peace of mind, and your heart is free from fear and greed. Even the bare ground feels like heaven. But if your mind is restless, even golden palace feel like prison. The king transformation. The king returned to his palace But his heart was changed from that day forward. He ruled with compassion instead of pride. He valued justice over violence and mercy over might. He realized truth, wealth is not treasure but peace of mind. Power and riches are temporary, but contentment is eternal. The greatest king is not the one who commands armies, but the one who sleeps in peace. Moral: happiness does not come from what you want, it comes from what you let go of. Thanks. धन्यवाद.